Hey everybody, this is Chris, and I'm going to do a pre-roll on the Truth. I don't usually do pre-rolls on the Truth. I just let the madness and lunacy take care of itself on this episode every week. But there are a couple things that I need to address, and first is the Houndsman XP podcast group. That is the place where we make all of the announcements about the animal rights movement and what they're doing to take away our freedoms. Our most recent post has to do with North Carolina. North Carolina is looking for your opinion and your comments in support of bear hunting. And this affects every houndsman. I can't say this enough. I know you get tired of hearing it. I don't like talking about it. I wish I never had to talk about it again. But every time we give up ground to the animal rights movement and they take away small freedoms one at a time, we lose ground. I don't care if you're a competition coon hunter or you're a big game hunter. It affects all of us. We've got to stand together on this and fight against any and all attempts to erode our freedoms. It's bear hunting today, but when they're not successful with that, then they're going to come after your freedom to possess a dog, how you house your dog, what temperatures they can be outside. If we keep sitting back and letting them take one small freedom at a time, I promise you it will come down to the fact that you will need to have your dog in a certified safety seat or seat belt before you can even transport it down the road. Don't be complacent. It is coming to a council meeting near you. Nobody is going to fight this fight for you. We have to mobilize. We have to take them head on and stand our ground. Enough of that talk. Let's get into Josh. Man, he rakes Finley over the coals in this one. It's a great conversation. I think you're really going to enjoy it. The Old South dog box is shaking. Let's get the tailgate down and dump the box.
Yeah, do that, Finley.
Is yours?
I don't have any service.
We have AT&T, not Verizon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway, we're recording.
we are.
And this is The Truth on the Houndsman XP Podcast Network. This is the Circle Points edition. We're doing Circle Points from the Oh, Jed, set your drink on the floor so it didn't bang on the table. I'm so proud of you.
Hey, I'm coming up in this world.
My little man's growing up. Well, it's Lone Star week.
It is the Lone Star 5000.
It is our favorite week of the year. Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I mean, I like the world hunt, but it ain't like this.
Yeah.
And,
That was a good introduction, by the way.
yeah, thank you. Anyway, The Truth, Houndsman XP Podcast Network. And we are joined, as always, on Circle Points by Mr. Jed Finley. And this time we have a special guest who I think surely can tell some stories about our regular guest, Mr. Jed Finley, Mr. Kevin Ellis. Kevin, how are you?
I'm good, bud. I would say there's several stories we can probably go into here.
Good, because we want to hear them. But it is Lone Star Week. We are at camp. We are at our winter home. When we left North Missouri, it was -5.
It was cold.
60-mile-an-hour winds, it felt like.
Lots of snow.
Yeah, it had snowed. We had a good winter up until then, but it seems like every year.
Absolutely.
Right as soon as we leave for Texas is when it gets bad.
And when it gets bad in Texas is when y'all show up.
Yep.
We've been 70 degrees and everything's good, and you boys roll in, and here comes the blizzard behind you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're bad in Texas. Ain't quite as bad as what we're used to. Well, last year was bad, though.
Yes.
You guys had that bad storm. All the pipes froze. Everything was a mess. Because I remember when I came down for the shootout. That was after, how much snow did you guys have, Kevin?
I think we had like 8 inches of snow
Yeah.
and stayed here for 5-6 days.
Yeah, it got below zero.
That just doesn't happen here.
No. You guys just aren't set up for it.
No.
Aren't equipped for it.
No, not at all.
But, I mean, if you can deal with Jed Finley for 6 days a year, 7 days a year during Lone Star Week, surely you can deal with the blizzard.
That is true, and now I have to deal with him more because the other hunts down here that's showing up far
Yeah.
now. So
Yeah. I kind of move into camp, the
Yeah.
whole winter time.
Did you get black IP entries?
No, not this year. we're not going to be down at the Black IP this year.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah.
We haven't hunted as hard as we should have.
No, I'll be probably mountain lion hunting at that time. So
Yeah. Hopefully I'll be out there with you.
yeah.
All right. So we're joined by Kevin. We come down to camp every year. Camp is our second home. We love it down here. The hospitality is fantastic, thanks to Mr. Kevin and Miss Karen. And it's always nice. Now, Jed's been down here for 21 years.
21 years.
This is your
this
21st year.
Yep.
2001 was the first year you came down here.
Yep.
And I think we've talked about that on the podcast
yep.
before.
I was just a young kid at the time.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable, let me tell you.
So we're going to kind of do like a history of camp first. I want to know about, because I mean, how long has this building been here?
We started working on it probably about 97.
Yeah, 97. Now, how long you guys had the property?
For a little over 100 years,
Yeah.
probably. Yeah,
'Cause
it was my great grandfather's property, so we've been here.
It's such a special place. I mean, it ain't. How many places do we travel a year, Jed?
Oh, a lot.
mean,
But
everywhere.
this does feel like home.
Yeah.
Every time I've come down here, I don't ever want to leave. Now, in the summer, I'll leave because it's hot.
I try to get him to come down, and I try to get both of y'all to come in the summer, about July and August, and come stay with me for about a week here, but
Nope.
y'all won't have no part of it.
Hey,
We're good.
when I come down for Kevin's oldest daughter's wedding,
Yeah.
when Katie got married, I'm telling you, you want to talk about hot and sticky. Every time I come down for the graduations, it was hot and sticky. It is. You walk outside and you start sweating. That ain't my style.
No, we ain't built for it.
No,
we ain't equipped for
absolutely
it.
not.
All right, you guys are gonna have to keep the conversation going for like 2 minutes while I get up and put this dog out. That someone let Bogan in
Yeah.
while we started the podcast.
He's making the rounds here.
Yeah, he's gonna have the whole place destroyed if we ain't careful. So you guys just talk about something.
But no, the way Kevin and I became friends was in 2001. You guided me at the Lone Star 5000 4 nights in a row.
Yes.
And we come back here to your camp, and we hunted and hunted and hunted and became good friends after that. To start out with, I didn't even know who Kevin Ellis was. And, he was guiding me. He said, hey, next year you just come stay at my camp. And I thought, I don't know this dude.
Now, when you say come stay at camp, because I remember what it was like the first year I come down here, which had been 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And we had remember the Chewbacca rat that was in here?
Yes.
But right now, I mean, we got leather furniture. We've got a nice fancy bar. We've got a big screen TV. We got comfortable living areas. This place is deluxe right
Yes.
now.
Yeah, we're moving up over the years.
Yeah.
We keep adding on every year. So, and Finley, he's a little high tech anyway. You got to have the good stuff for him to hang around.
Yeah.
He's high maintenance. That's
Yeah.
what Jed is.
But in 2001, when Jed first come down, I was guiding, non-hunting guide for the Lone Star, and I met him. He was just a big kid. I was a little older, not much older, but me and him just kind of struck a conversation, and started talking, and it just went from there. I mean, and like this country here, y'all hunt. I mean, I always wanted to share that with you guys that come down, and always take these guys from out of state to some good country.
I know, because
And-
we come from coon country, and everyone says, well, your dog's in the north, can't tree coons in the south. I said, well, we go down to Texas, we tree coons all the time. But they also don't understand the kind of hunting that you're turning us to. It's just as good at here as it is at the house.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. coon hunt.
Absolutely.
I mean, fantastic. I mean, the woods right here behind camp is clean and good, and there's coons all over it.
Mm-hmm.
The ones down there by Howes and stuff are just dynamic. I mean, it's good
Absolutely
country.
is.
It ain't like they think we're coming down here and we got it tough in Texas. And I noticed that the first year I hunted down here, because I hunted with Dollar. I had Dollar the first year I come down, and they turned us loose in some Yopon thickets and stuff. And man, we ran hogs all night. I think we may have treed one coon. And I thought, man, this hunting's tough down here. And I said, Jed, how'd you do? He goes, well, we treed 7. Trader treed 3, another dog treed 3, another dog treed 1. I said, man, you guys got dog's looking good, yeah. And then I come over here and hunted where they were hunting. I was like, no wonder. This is awesome hunting.
Yeah, it's God's country for coon hunting, and basically any style of hunting, between hog hunting, deer hunting. coon hunting, it's primo.
Kevin, how long? So you said you built camp in 90.
97, 98.
What was it like when you first built it?
It was just tin building with the sleeping quarters here, and
Yeah.
we just over the years added on insulation on the back part, and and how all this began. Me and a good friend of mine, Donnie Doge, we hog hunted all the time, and we camped in a trailer somewhere, and 20 degrees and the wind blowing, and we just decided one day, hey, we're gonna put a camp together and start just adding on to it, and this is what it is today. So
I mean, it's awesome.
Oh, it's when I first come down here, Kevin goes, "You stay at camp," and I thought, oh. So I come out and hung out. I was like, man, that's a good spot to go out and stay. So I took him up on his offer, and when I first started staying here, it was dirt floor in here where we're sitting now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you track dirt everywhere.
And since to let people describe where we're sitting now, we're sitting at a nice oak table next to a big wood fireplace.
it'll get hot.
Yeah, it got hot last night. And on a nice concrete floor, we're surrounded by mounts and taxidermy. There's a nice bar right over there in the corner, full kitchen, Blackstone grill. I mean, pretty nice.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, the place is pretty nice. But when you first started, dirt floors, it wasn't like this.
No,
Not at all.
But I mean, it was as clean as you could keep it clean.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly. But I mean, the thing that's the best about out here is you hear nothing.
Yep.
You can sleep out here at any time of the day. Night, it's
Finley, you can sleep on the side of the interstate. He's gotten a little better. I mean, he sleeps more than anybody I know.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. I'm always the one. I was up the other morning when we went duck hunting. I was waiting on Kevin.
Now, Kevin, tell the truth.
How long did you wait? 5 minutes?
10.
Okay, well, maybe.
I'm surprised he was up before you got here.
I'm still impressed.
No, we loved when I come down. Kevin and I always like to go duck hunting.
Yeah.
And well, Kevin's always going duck hunting.
Oh, yeah.
And so I got down here and we're going duck hunting tomorrow morning. Sounds good, Well, I actually got up on time, which doesn't happen very often. I've been woke up by dogs in bed with me that were soaking wet because I didn't get up to go duck hunting. I mean, that just happens. So, I mean, he does have a point about me coon hunting all night and then getting up to go duck hunting.
I say, in Jed's defense, usually we get in pretty late. Because I love to duck hunt. Right. I love to duck hunt. And Kevin will be hunting with us one night. Like, you going to duck hunt in the morning? It's already 3 a.m. I said, no, I'm good. I think I'm just going to crash it out.
See, I always got to make the mistake. Yeah, I'll go.
Yeah. No, I always tell Kevin no. That's my first. That's my first response. Always is, nah, I'm good. Mm-hmm. And then I figure if I want to go, I'll just wake up and go. Yep. So, Kevin, when you met Jed, you said he was a big kid and you guys just kind of hit it off. But I've known Jed for 10 years now. How does that even happen?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. It's still a mystery. One thing I remember about Jed, you could tell his determination. He was a big kid, but you could tell in the coon hunting world that he was determined on what he was doing. And what really struck it off with us, we were going across a field that first night he hunted with me, and there were some deer out in that field, and he hit them with his light, and he goes, "What are those?" And I said, "Those are whitetails." He goes, "I've got house dogs bigger than them. Are they babies?" And I go, "No, them are full-grown East Texas whitetail." Yeah. And he says, "You need to see the deer we have in Iowa." Mm-hmm. And then, hey, I'm a big bow hunter.
Yeah, that makes sense now.
And so the next night at the clubhouse, he was there, and me and him just started talking. We drawed out again, and just kind of went from there.
Yeah, because Jed's an acquired taste.
Right.
It ain't like you just hit it off with Jed immediately. You know, me and Jed, because I told my first impression of Jed the first time I met him. Mm-hmm. Man, about 5 minutes in, I'm like, who in the F is this guy? I can't stand this dude. But it took a little while, and then, I got accustomed, and I like him now. He's like a brother, but it ain't like just, love at first sight type deal. Usually ain't with Finley.
Right. And I think at that time he was just getting started good, and he didn't have, he wasn't he was pretty low keyed at that time.
Yeah, I was very low key.
Yes.
Hot tempered and low keyed.
Yes, and the temper come on later.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I have left here at 2:00 in the morning to go to the clubhouse with a question.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, Finley, how much time's left in the hunt? 10 minutes. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is because I remember I drew Finley one night down here. You picked us up over here by a lake.
Mm-hmm.
And me and Jed tried to screw me out of the cast with like 5 minutes left.
After I won it.
After he won the cast for me.
Right.
And then tried to screw me out of it. Long story. I got a kick out of it. I drove down here with him.
Yeah.
I think it was the first year I came.
It was.
Because I was
'Cause you
hunting
hunted
dollar.
dollar.
Yeah, I was hunting dollar. You were hunting trader. And Kevin come, and we were down here on the White Rock Road. And you come picked us up. It was pretty late because we walked. I had to go get that boy's dog and stuff like that. So we'd walk quite a while, and Kevin come pick us up. I thought, man, Kevin just comes pick you up. He goes, oh yeah, Kevin come pick me up.
He'll come pick me up anywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And he has.
And
He
you ought to
has.
see some of the places I picked
that's
him
what
up
I
at.
want. That's what I want to know. What is your best Jed after a cast story? You got a good one,
After the cast story.
or
Oh,
during, or
I have a favorite.
all right? I want to hear your version, and then we'll hear Kevin's version of the same
My-
story.
My absolute favorite time Kevin come pick me up, but I drove my S10 down here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we thought it was a ball joint went out, so I had the ball joint replaced.
Oh wait, is that when
They were working on it
was
with
it
a
Katie
torch.
that was little?
Yes.
Yeah, and Katie
Yeah.
was little, and she
Yeah.
said, "Mr. Jed,
You're at the wrong place. This is a
not
bad place.
This is not a nice place."
Yeah, and so I drew out a lot. We were down in Iola, and we drew south to the power plant, and it come a storming, and I mean we got a lot of rain that night in a bunch, and I called Kevin. I was coming out, and my tire just boop. I couldn't drive it no more. Well, it wasn't the ball joint; it was wheel bearings. We went out, and so I called Kevin. I'm like, dude, I'm in a bad pinch. You know, I need you to bring a trailer and come pick me up. What'd Kevin do? You got a trailer and come pick me up. He come across and got me and turned that truck around. We got my truck loaded. And when we come back out, it was up to the doors on that pickup
Really, the
On the
water
water.
was.
On the county road, yes.
Yeah.
coming over the road.
Yeah.
It was, and I mean, not too often do you get somebody out of bed at 2:00 in the morning.
That's one of those times when you ask yourself, why do you mess with Finley?
Was
know
you
why?
cussing Finley?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because I've never met with me, other than me, I've never met somebody like myself who was friends with Jed, but just cusses him all the time.
It happens. But yeah, that was one of them deals where, man, it was.
Did you
goodness.
win the cast?
No, I did not.
But you got the S10 hauled to the not so good place.
No, I got it hauled to the good place. See,
Uh-huh.
when I went into town, Kevin I could see this little shop over here to the left. Well, Kevin told me to take a right, but I seen the little spot over to the left, so I was like, oh, he must have meant left. Well, I pulled in there.
Kevin, who's lived here all his life, got his directions wrong.
Well, I mean, it was right there at the intersection, so I'm like, he must have meant a left. So I pull in there, and little did I know, it was not a real good place.
As Miss Katie would say, it was
Yeah.
just not a nice place, Jed.
Yeah, and so Karen Katie pulled up, and proceeded to tell me it wasn't a good place, and next thing I know, here comes Kevin, and he was working. He was a deputy at the time, and he walks up, and this place scatters. There's not a person you can see except the one man that's under my truck with a torch. And I thought, whoa.
In my business, that's a clue.
Yeah, that's right.
I was like, maybe I ain't at a good place. When the deputy shows up and this place just vanishes with people, it ain't good. Sure enough, it wasn't a good place. But the next day we ended up getting it all fixed up.
And that's the year you left. And when you left out,
Yep,
snow from Oklahoma to
they had the big ice storm up there, and all the big poles were snapped off
Yeah.
and everything. It was bad.
Yeah.
What year was that?
Oh, I can't even remember.
If you'd have had
Katie
your S-
was-
if you'd had your S10, it was
Katie
a long
was
time.
3, I think, 2 or 3.
What dog were you hunting?
I was
Whitey?
hunting Whitey and Hope, so it had
Yeah.
to be
It's
4 or 5.
It was, I was going to say 2004 probably,
Yeah.
or 5 maybe.
Yeah.
Kaylor was with you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was actually 2003, I think.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was 2003. 2003 or 2004.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago.
How long, and I should know this, I should have done some backstory. How long has the Jewett Classic and the Iola Lone Star 5000 been going on?
I'm not 100% sure. It's over 20 years.
Really?
Because it might have been in 1 or 2 years, before I
Yeah.
started coming down.
Yeah. I want to say it was around 2000. 99 is when Noah Powell got me involved in coming over and taking casts.
Yep.
As far as taking cats, now Kevin, you've had dogs and hunted with dogs. I mean, as far as hogs and coons, and
Right. I grew up, with my dad right here on this place in this country, coon hunting. And then when I got up into high school and out of high school, something changed with us around here, and that was hogs. Mm-hmm. And then we started hog hunting.
Yeah.
When did
the hog? That was about when the hogs came in.
Probably, let's see, what'd be. Probably 92, somewhere in there, 91, 92. We started seeing a few hogs in this country. And, a good friend of mine, like I say, Donnie Dogay, the one that me and him built this camp. And, back then, you allowed to ride 2 days, horseback with a set of dogs and finally come across a hog. They weren't like they are now.
Yeah.
But
How long did it take them to go from that to all of a sudden you could find them pretty regular?
not long at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just multiplied and just keep multiplying.
Because I know it was last year we went with thermals, and I mean just you and Hal were gracious enough to make me and Jed. And if anybody hasn't seen that footage, it's on Infected Outdoors. If you subscribe to them on YouTube, but just the sheer amount of hogs on them ranches that we were hunting were just astounding, especially that first night.
Yeah.
I mean, what did we see that night? 300 or 400 hogs, probably.
Oh, probably.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it just didn't take them long. Now, were the hog dogs a big deal right from the get-go as soon as the hogs showed up, or did that take a while to come in behind them?
It not as much it is now.
Yeah.
Back then it wasn't, there wasn't a lot of hunters, but it was a few.
Yeah.
And
what kind of dogs were they that you
We
guys
just
usually
run just cur dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
have catch dogs and all that stuff too?
Had the bulldogs and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And you've had coonhounds too.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, they weren't trader dogs though.
No.
No.
I told Jed here a while back, when we started hunting, I hunted with a guy over at Crockett, Alvin Murray, and we had, he had a lot of dogs, and I hunted with him. And Gold Creek Mundo was the dogs back then.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, Mundo.
Yeah. They had a Gold Creek Splash and Gold Creek Spike, and just phenomenal dogs. They hunted a lot of competitions with us and that kind of stuff.
Mundo, by all accounts, Mundo was a dynamic dog. I mean, everybody you hear about talked about Gold Creek Mundo is a good dog. But one of the reasons that we're doing this podcast, and one of the reasons that the Lone Star 5000, as like me and Jed talked about earlier, is going to be probably the last open event to ever be held. I mean, I think it's the greatest open event on the planet. It's going to be this and Michigan Madness are going to be in a foot race for whoever ends the open event era.
But for lifetime length, there's nothing that's going to top the Lone Star.
I don't think so.
Because it's been going on a lot longer than Michigan Madness.
But it's just such a unique area.
Yes.
Because you think of Texas and you don't necessarily think of coon dogs at the first.
Absolutely not.
But the PKC World Champions right up here in Buffalo. And Clom and Caldwell and Chris Collins and Joe Manning and
Guy Manning,
who's a legend, and all these guys are right in this area, and it's just such a unique place on the planet. And I don't know, I just can't understand what makes this. I mean, there's great coon hunting, but there's great coon hunting in a lot of places. I just don't understand what this makes this. It's like it's its own culture.
Yep.
It's its own area. It's got its own houndsman. It's like there's the rest of the planet, and then there's East Texas.
Yep.
And I mean, it's just completely different when you get down here. And I'm just fascinated by it and how that it operates and the houndsmen that are in it, because there's some real legends down here.
You talk about Guy Manning. I remember I was probably 16, 17 years old, still in high school, going to the state hunt. Guy Manning was just what he is today, with 3, 4, 5 dogs and just solid. And it's phenomenal that I go still today and see him at these hunts and how long
And he's still competing.
Yes, and how long
Yeah.
he's been there and how long he's done it. And, you know, I got to see something last year with a guy with the youth, you know, with these kids that he does and all that. So it's a lot of history right here, really.
Now, Kevin, you've lived here all your life, right?
Correct. Yep.
What makes this place so much different than the rest of the state and really the rest of the country?
To me, this is home. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just, you know, but you got these river bottoms, this Trinity River bottom, this old big timber back here, this open timber, and it's just phenomenal to me. I mean, as far as, you know, y'all talk about coon hunting, same way with duck hunting. When that country floods and them green heads falling through them big oaks, you know, and it's all I know. It's all I'll ever know.
Yeah.
I know, what year was it, 17 when all this was flooded?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And me and Kevin took a boat ride, and the stuff that we hunted last night was
And every year that we hunt.
was under 6-7 foot of water.
Yep.
A lot of it. I mean, it just for one to clean that whole timber up down there on Howe, down there below Howe. I mean, that's about as clean a woods as there is on the planet right now.
Yep.
But when people from outside of Texas think of Texas, it's, you know, there's not a lot of public land. You know, there's private ground rights are so, you know, determined and set in stone and stuff, you know, and dogs kind of go where they want. And so it's kind of hard, but in this area, everybody kind of understands that the Lone Star 5000 is going on, and, you know, dogs do what dogs do. And that just ain't everywhere.
But the people down here just think differently. I
Yeah.
mean, it's more of a family, and they understand hunting. You know, they understand cultural differences.
Right.
You know, they understand a deer hunter, they understand a hog hunter, they understand coon hunting. You know, it's just they're more diverse down here, I think, than anywhere else in the country.
And the good part about right here, you know, there's still a lot of big country,
Yeah.
a lot of ranchers that run cattle
Yeah.
on these, you know, and that's changing fast.
Is it?
Yeah, it's changing. I mean, a big center ranch here, you know, 10,000 acre ranch just sold.
No
and,
kidding.
And
I
they're
didn't know
breaking
Center sold.
They're breaking it in 10-acre tracts. Yeah, and it's pretty heartbreaking to see it happening. But
Yeah.
you know, but still, there's a lot of big places here that'll stay. You know, and it'll always be, you know, good country to hunt.
Because I mean, my last job before I went to work for Joy, we did construction. I worked on the road a lot, and we did a job in South Texas. I was down there for over a year, around the King Ranch and around all that stuff down around Kingsville and Robstown and Corpus Christi. And if I had control of a nuclear weapon, that's where I'd drop it. I mean, that is that is the most miserable place on the planet. I don't care what anybody says, and I had such a.
We might not be welcome in Texas no
That
more.
may not be, but I'm telling you, that place is horrible.
It's rough country.
It's 1,000,000 degrees all the time. It is nice in February. You can golf the first week of February, and there's some nice golf courses. But you can't set foot outside off a road. You know, the King Ranch owns everything, and they're not going to let you on it. The people are kind of not like here. You know, they're not as hospitable. They're not as keen to having outsiders around. And so I had a pretty ill, you know, it was before I met you, you know, but I had a pretty ill towards look to Texas. I thought, man, I don't want to go anywhere near that state. And then Jed talked me into coming down here one year, 6 years ago. And it's just not the same. I mean, Texas is a big place.
It is.
And this area of Texas, it could be its own, you know, state, I think. You know, it's just different.
Well, if it was not hot like it is in the summer, it'd be a place I'd live.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it's home. It feels like home.
And like this Lone Star 5000, I've always enjoyed taking you guys out and these guys from up north and different places, you know, through the years. And I've met a lot of people through, you know, hunting and doing that. And I've just enjoyed them getting that opportunity to come to this timber and compete with one another. And I've met a lot of good guys. I've met some guys that are just purity knuckleheads, you know.
Yeah.
That just get aggravated pretty easy.
How many of those did Jed bring some of them down?
I think he's related to half of them. No. Hey, I'm going to tell this story. I'm going to make the
Go
story
ahead,
quick. I'm going
go
to make the
ahead.
story quick.
You don't even have to make it quick. We got plenty of time.
Well, it's kind of a long story, but I wished I knew the gentleman's name that we were hunting with that night. There was a guy on the cast, And when I got it, I made every step with them, you know, because and Jed can tell you, if I say, hey, you know, I've had them guys tell me, hey, the dogs are treed right here. We need to go this way. I said, well, I'll tell you what, y'all go that way.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to, you need to come go with me. They figured out pretty quick to follow me.
Absolutely.
But this older man, you know, he was a very nice gentleman. And there was a guy on the cast, and this guy was just giving him grief all night. His dog, this young boy's dog, he should have pulled him out of the hunt. He was done. And got down, not much time left, and that dog, they got leashed up, and I don't know how much minus this young boy was, you know. And the older man was winning the cast. They cut loose, and that young boy's dog went in there and struck, and I mean, just hammered right there. And that boy looked at that old man. He said, that's what I'm talking about. That's how that dog should have been doing all night. That dog should be kicking y'all, you know, on and on and on. And I thought, boy, I don't see how that old man takes that. You know, him being so arrogant to him. We walk in there to this tree, and it is a persimmon tree about 20 foot tall. And sitting right up in the top of it is the biggest, fattest, smilingest possum you ever seen in your life. That old man looks over to that boy, and he says, man, that is a coon dog. He said he run all the hair off that one. And turned around and walked out. And I thought to myself, that is what I've been waiting on all night right there.
Jed, do you know who that was?
It wasn't me. I'll
It wasn't
promise
you?
you.
I figured Jed was that young kid.
No.
But I've had a lot of fun through the years, you know, guiding and taking these guys. So.
But when Kevin says he walks every step,
Yeah.
he does walk every step. When he was taking them casts, he walked, and there wasn't a time you listened to him because he knows these woods like the back of his hand.
Before we had Bird's Eye.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
back before we had the Dogsters with the good maps and all that stuff, you had to have a good guide because especially down here, you know, there'd be. Even if you had a map, like I can look at my map and be like, oh, it's just 100 yards through this timber, you know, I'll walk to him. But there may be a yopon thicket, you know, in between him and you. There may be, who knows what's in between it. So you got to have a pretty good guide. And there aren't very many guides anymore. Like if I'm in Indiana, I don't care if a guide goes with me or not.
No.
Because I can usually get, unless there's some strip mines or something like that, you know, I can get my way around with just my maps. But down here, it's different.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember.
Because you get stuck in one of them yopon thickets. It ain't pretty.
Joe Manning, I love Joe Manning, but if he's listening to this, we got into a flooded, miserable mess one night, and it looked like I could just get right to this black and tan that I was trying to catch for Gene Jigger's boy. And I thought I could just walk right to him, and Joe was sitting in the truck, and I would have loved to have Joe with me right then to tell me not to go that way.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's just like that. It's a different country as far as there's a lot of off game we ain't used to.
Absolutely.
There's hogs.
Armadillos.
There's armadillos. There's so many deer sometimes in places, you know, the deer are real spotty, but in places they're so thick that it's worse than home. But there is a lot of raccoons.
Yes.
And so when we're getting a dog ready for this, sometimes it's easier to just get down here early. And turns the dogs loose here.
Yep.
You know, we got all the run of camp. We got all this ground right here to hunt. And what I've always liked about Kevin is that he goes with us, even when he's got to work the next day.
Oh, yeah.
Or he's got to do something else. And the last thing he wants to do when it's cold is go following one of Jed's dogs around all over the place.
Now, the reason he does it, he still gets that itch.
Oh, I know he does.
He misses those coon dogs.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you one thing. I don't know how many times I've heard, I'm going to have a dog next year.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a dog next year.
Yeah.
One of these years, he's going to shock us.
I hope.
I do, too.
Because I think Kevin
I
makes
just
a
hope
good...
it's
Kevin,
I just hope it's a trader, though.
Kevin would make a good handler.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jed usually breaks me from that when we go 7 miles. You know, and the sun's coming up, and I tell him every time, now remember why I quit.
Yeah.
We always do this thing where, you know, we're having a real good hunt. Oh, we've had a lot of good hunts right here at the slough on down to the Trinity River.
Kevin is notorious for one more drop, but in our defense, it's usually Kevin that talks us into it.
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
and
I remember the first year when we're over here, we're treeing all kinds of coons, but it's cold and nasty and everything, and then the weather had come in, and Kevin goes, "I got a deer feeder right here."
Yeah. Yeah.
Just send them right down that ditch. We'll get them off that feeder. How'd that hunt go, Jed?
About
You remember
5
that?
hours later, we got dogs rounded up. Because there was a hog underneath that feeder, I do
Yes.
believe.
No, it was a deer because Duds ran it, and Duds he didn't run any hogs.
Well, it was whatever it was.
Yeah,
it, was
it
not
wasn't a
a coon.
coon.
It wasn't climbing.
Whatever it was didn't live here.
Yeah.
So, Kevin, you've been dealing with Jed 21 years now.
Yes.
You met him. He come down to Katie's wedding. He comes down hunting every year. You guys are pretty good friends. What is the one story about Finley that you want to tell everybody? There's got to be one. That's family. That's PG-13. Do you have any PG-13 stories about Finley that you want to share?
Man,
That narrows it down to one or two, though.
Yeah, you put the PG-13 in, I'm done. There's no stories. Yeah, I don't know, Jed. What I'm trying to think. There's
one
been
thing
several.
that most people don't know about Finley. Anything.
I'm a heck of a hunter.
Yeah.
No, there's,
Or Trader. Because Trader spent a lot of years down here, too.
yeah,
Yep.
Trader and Whitey.
Oh,
You got it.
I got it. I've got it. On a 20-mile walk one night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trader treat a bobcat.
Whitey.
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 Whitey
Oh,
treat,
it was Whitey, yeah.
Whitey treat a bobcat. 5 miles from this camp, right here. I quit Jed. Sent him across that last bottom. I said, "You go over there. I'm gonna sit here and I'll
Hal's
wait on you."
mama's bottom.
Yep, behind
Where'd
Hal
you turn
Smith's.
loose at?
Oh,
Back here by the slough.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, evidently, that was the only bobcat in the river bottom. Because Jed goes to the tree, comes back, convinces me he had a cat treat. I'm like, okay, whatever. Let's get the heck out of here. This sun's fixing to be in our eyes.
Yeah.
So we get back to camp. He goes to Centerville the next day. There's a bobcat run over on the highway, 3 miles from where he treated the night before. He swears up and down that is the same. To this day, he will argue with me.
Yep.
That is the same bobcat that dog treats.
Was it not in a straight line from where I come, where that cat was?
Well,
Straight,
Jed,
straight line.
everything
No.
3
is-
miles.
Yeah, straight
Everything
line
is in
north.
a straight line.
No.
Depends on which way you draw it. It's a straight
Exactly.
line, yeah.
It's the same bobcat. I'm telling you.
Did you count the spots?
No, I wish I had a collar on him though, because I wish. The bad thing is I didn't have a gun.
Yeah. Since when?
I don't even know why we didn't. We thought he was running hog. We thought he was running hogs, is what we thought,
Yeah.
and it ended up being that bobcat.
He probably was.
Because he might have been running hogs and switched off on the bobcat. I mean, it's hard telling. But yeah, that was But there's been a lot of good hunts that Kevin and I had that ended at the end of the night at the Trinity River,
Yeah.
and a lot of them.
That's
I
what a bunch
remember
of
one.
hunts.
Yeah, I remember
'Cause-
one. It cost you $100 bill.
Yeah.
Yep, sure did.
Yeah.
And he rolled it right out.
That
like-
was when you had your that old 4-wheeler.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What the
And as far
second
as
year I was down here,
Yep.
I think.
Yeah.
yeah, and as far as that dog was in there, if you'd offered me 100, I would have went and got him.
Yeah.
He offered me first.
Yeah, you just looked at him.
No.
No.
You better add a couple zeros.
I was gutted that night because we walked a bunch and Trader treed right on the bank of the river, and
Because that was after.
that was a late round after I already hunted two
Yes.
late rounds
See,
off.
me and Ty sat in camp,
Yep.
and we had about a 12-pack in between us, or better.
Yeah.
You
You
know?
listened to the whole hunt.
Yeah, we could hear the dogs out the back door from camp. You know, they'd hunted late round at camp. That was on Tuesday night at Jewett. It was the first night of the week. And Trader had got in, and you made him hunt it off.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
like he does.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And
I like
Trader,
them donuts in town on the
Yeah.
way back from the late rounds.
and Trader ended up at the Trinity River. And the closest we could get to him was like 1.7, 1.6.
Yeah, because
something like
he was in the cane farm,
Mm-hmm.
but he was too far to the north to get any closer to
Yeah.
him. And that's when,
that. And so we got up
And
there
it
on
was
the
flooded.
4-wheeler.
yeah.
And Jed told Ty Anderson, he said, I will give you $100 to go in and get that dog. And to Ty's credit, I didn't even get a good nap in. And he was back
Yeah.
with that dog.
Yeah, he went in, knocked
That
two
Ty can
more.
walk.
Yeah, he could.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went in and got that dog, come back, and you and I were asleep underneath the pecan
Yeah.
tree when he come back.
Jed goes, "Go get Trader. I'll give you $100." I said, "You couldn't give me Trader and $100 to go get that dog." I said, "There ain't no way."
Yeah.
But Trader done a lot of winning down here. Whitey won some, Hope won some, and we've talked about that before. Shock's done good in Texas, and Rain and Scent. We're hoping to keep it going this week. But Kevin, you're kind of like a outside observer. What's the best dog you've seen Jed turn loose down here?
Trader.
Was it Trader?
Yeah, it'd be Trader.
Was that your favorite?
Well, he wasn't my favorite. I liked his style. I liked the way he, where he would go get treed, and you just had to go to him. You just had to go get him. But he was fixing to, he was going to get on. He was going to get treed.
The worst part was the walking.
The worst part was the walking with him. Yeah.
And the bad thing about Trader hunting him here, and Kevin can testify to this, pretty much when you cut him loose within anywhere of that Trinity River, he was going to be at the river by the end of the night.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times we would drive back in there, have lights off, don't let him bark in the back of that truck. It's just one of them deals when it was like he was always bound to be at that river by the end of the
Well, that's
night.
where he ended up that night. You was trying to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell that story about that cast.
You can have
Can
at
I?
it. Go ahead.
So I'm hunting Dollar. Jed's hunting Trader. We drove down here together. It's my first year. I'd just met Kevin and everything, and it was Iola, so it was Thursday.
Yep.
And Trader treed a den out of the truck and got covered late.
Mm-hmm.
That dog come in and covered him late. And so he left after Jed recut him. He just left the world.
Mm-hmm.
He just decided he was going to go find the Trinity River. No matter the fact that he was 3.5 miles away from it, he was just going to go find it. And Dollar had got in there, and Dollar had struck for 100 somehow. I think I pitched him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. But he'd got in there and got treed for 200. And I treed him, and he was over a mile. We walked to him. The two had caught him. And so we had to turn around and walk back to another dog. Gene Drigger's boy's dog was treed back behind us. So we went down there and we walked to that dog, and I retreed Dollar. So we walked 1.25 miles to Dollar, 1.25 miles back to the truck, 1.25 miles back to Dollar, and by that time the hunt's about over. And Dollar's treed on the edge, right on the bank of a lake.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, on the bank, in the water. His back end's in the water, and he's in this root ball. And when I shine my light down through these roots, there's nothing down there but water. There's nothing down there. And so Jed, the dog that covered Trader, because Trader had took some minus somehow.
No, Dollar took the minus after Trader
Yeah, but
Coon
somehow that other dog was going to win.
because Dollar took the minus for the hunt
Yeah.
when the two got him.
Yeah.
So
That's
that
right.
put that
Yeah,
other
yeah,
boy in the
yeah,
lead.
yeah.
And he was a pain in the
Yeah, so if Dollar got circled,
yeah.
then
That boy won.
yeah, that guy won because he was going to have 100 minus. And that guy had covered Trader for a quarter or something like
Yes,
that. And
he had 75 1/4 on Trader's tree,
Yeah.
and Dollar was at Dollar had done treat a coon.
No, that was the only tree Dollar made. I would have put him at 100
Then Trader
plus.
took some minus.
Yeah,
somehow.
Trader took
Yeah.
some. I think the 6 caught him.
Yeah, 6
The
caught
6
him.
had caught
Yep.
him. Because you struck him for 75 off some junk or something
Yeah.
like that, and
Yep.
then the 6 had caught him. But anyway.
Anyway,
Uh,
this other boy was going.
The other guy was getting ready to win. And so Jed climbs down over this bank at a lake, and he starts looking in this hole with nothing in it and poking a stick and squalling. And I'd done climbed out there and seen there was nothing in this hole, and I've done climbed out there standing on the bank. The time's still running on the tree. And Jed's squalling and poking this hole and everything, and I know what Jed's going to do. Jed's going to look in there, and he's going to be like, hey, I see it, and he's going to try to talk this kid into seeing it. He's going to talk to me into seeing it, and this guy's going to lose. And I didn't want to do it too bad, but
Hey, I am not benefiting from this one
no,
iota.
at that time, Jed's just trying to win the cash for me because this other guy was
pain.
I'll just say he was a real asshole.
Yes,
and
he was.
we didn't want him to win the cast either, but whatever. And so Jed's down here in this hole, and he's poking, and he's yelling, and he's squalling, and finally there's like 4 minutes gone in the shine time, and Jed pokes his head up over the bank. Are you gonna effing help me or not? I thought, Oh, my God. So I go over the bank. I'm gonna go just act like I'm looking for something, you know. And I step over the bank and I look down, and this coon had went through the hole and was just laying in the grass right next to the hole.
With my foot on top of it.
Jed was about to stand on it, and I almost did step on it. And I said, well, hell, Jed, right there's the coon. And Jed looks, I swear to God, Kevin, he looks in the back of this hole where there is absolutely nothing there. He goes, yep, I got him. And I said, Jed, no, seriously, there's a coon right here. And he looks over and he goes, oh my gosh.
I about
He
fell
goes, that
in
thing is
a
right
lake.
there. And so we get the boy down there. We see Gene's boy, and we show him the coon. We asked that other guy, I said, you want to see it? He goes, no, I don't want to see it. So there's 3 minutes left to go in this hunt.
Yep.
And so I got to walk my minute. Trader struck. The other dog struck. Gene's boy had withdrawn.
Yep.
And so we had to go out and start the time on the dogs. And if they didn't bark, I won. And whatever, you know, the hunt was over. And so I get out. We walk my minute, and we're listening. We're at the White Rock Road, and we're listening.
Where Kevin came and picked us up.
And there's a dog, probably at Centerville, barking, a house dog. And Jed goes, you hear me right through there? I said, no, Jed. I know what I'm judging. I said, I know what Trader sounds like. That ain't Trader. Right there. You hear that dog? You need a tree trader right there, right there. And I pick up my Garmin and I show it to Jed. I said, Jed, Trader, I lost him 2 miles the opposite direction of where you're trying to call him. You need to calibrate your Garmin.
I said, oh, yeah.
Jed looks at it and goes, yeah, you're right.
Hey, he didn't want to win the cast that bad the way I looked at it.
It was only $50. It was just a cast win. I wasn't going to get in anyway. But yeah. I think the only arguments me and Finley actually ever get in was when we was on a cast. I think that's why we own all our dogs together.
Yeah.
So we don't have to draw each other and we don't have to fight all the time.
That's right.
There you go.
All right.
I figured that out about Jed on that first year when we drawed out 4 nights in a row. When I drawed with him, I'm like, this boy's got some grit to him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he kind of impresses me a little bit.
He's mellowed out a lot. That's probably why he ain't winning.
And he's
near
got
as
a
much.
dog. And he's got a dog he can call now.
Yeah.
I mean, times are changing.
Well, back then he just called everybody's dog.
Yeah. But I mean, call to him to come get in the kennel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still impressed from the other night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Bella was the last dog that we couldn't call in.
Yeah. Sant was sitting in their tree on a coon the other night, and Kevin and I walked over there. I said, hey, Kevin, watch this. And we didn't want to walk across that ditch to her. I said, Sant, Dad, come. She jumped down, come right over to us. Kevin goes, wow.
I said, where'd you get, who owns that dog?
We'll have to give Reichenbach some credit. We need to get Big Tom on here.
You ask old Big Tom and Josh, they could get her to walk out with them, but they couldn't get her to come.
Yeah. So that was all Jet. We'll give some credit to Finley.
And you want to know the reason why that came about?
How's that?
Was because I had to swim a river at the Black IP to get her. Because she was on the other side, and she wouldn't come off, and after that I was like...
Well, right now you got rain shock scent down here. And every single one of them will come when you call them.
Yep.
Yeah, Scent came. I handled her the other night. She come out to me and stayed right there with me.
Kevin thought she got ate by a gator the other night.
Hey, it got pretty western there for a minute. they were split. She was on the slough tree and she was solid. She was barking. Everything was good. All of a sudden she shut up and I hear water splashing. It's 80 degrees. The gators are still out and there's 6 in there. 6. They're small gators, but yeah. And anyway, she shut up, and I can hear her fighting around the tree, not like she's chewing, but something's going on, a lot of water moving. And I'm like, oh, man. Jed had gone over to get the other dog. Anyway, I had to run around there, and luckily, the coon had got down is what happened. She was out there swimming that water with the coon.
I got you. That happened. That happens down here quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, especially in that slough.
Yeah.
You got a lot of buckbrush around it, so...
Yeah.
Coons kind of.
It's amazing what these little coons will climb in sometimes.
Yes,
I mean, tiny trees.
Yep.
Tiny trees.
About the first, that's probably 2nd or 3rd year I was down here. When I stayed at camp, we had Hope, and we were hunting her back here on the slough.
Yes.
And she's sitting out there treating that water. And I start walking out there. I'm not thinking anything. I just start walking. Kevin goes, you don't want to do that. And I said, why not? And he said, you see all them eyes out there? I was like, I kind of look. I'm like, yeah. He said, those are gators. And I said, oh, those ain't gators. By God, they were gators. And I didn't know they had them here. So we're walking back, and right is the the tube that went underneath the road. We got up to it, and I thought it was a beaver that splashed. It was that damn gator. You want to talk about change your attitude about crossing water when it's warm in Texas?
Yeah.
Because I mean, it'll stay down here. Last year at the shootout, that last night, I was getting bit by mosquitoes down there below Hiles.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 75 degrees when we turned loose.
Yeah.
In February.
Yeah, it was 2 days ago. It was out here.
Yeah.
Yeah. This front just blowed in and changed. You know, everything's still green.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just,
Yeah,
this
I noticed
frost
the
here.
yard. I noticed the yard was still green when I pulled in.
Yep.
Lush green. First time in a long time.
Yeah, we don't get that in January up
No.
home very often, do we?
No. But no, camp, it's a great place.
It's special.
It is a special
Camp
place.
is special.
Well, I'm just like I say, I'm proud that that we connected when we did, and y'all get to come share it and
Yeah.
spend the time here every week. You know,
Yeah.
a week every year, and like Finley, he comes several times a year.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and we all would if we had the time. I mean, Jed don't do nothing.
Exactly. Yeah. He has plenty of time.
That's right. But no, we do. We take. I mean, this is my vacation every year. I
Yeah.
mean, a week down here is as relaxing as any place on the planet. I mean, there's nothing like pulling in down here and opening them 2 gates. I do wish we could put some cattle guards
We need to
in.
put a cattle guard in.
You know.
I bet that's been talked about for 6 years too.
Yes, I know, because I know a guy that can run a mini.
Yes.
You know,
And I know a guy that has a mini that's probably about 5 miles away.
Hauser's right over there with the mini.
And there's a cattle guard sitting right by
Yes.
the gate.
Me
Yeah.
and Jed even offered last year.
Yep.
Yeah, let's rent a mini and get that cattle guard set in, because I do hate opening them gates. But other than that, camp is fantastic.
No, I mean, when Kevin and I met, it has been a true blessing to me because
Yeah.
I've got to do things, I never thought I was going to get to do. I mean, we went on a gator hunt with Troy Broussard.
Yep. Your
Never-
dad come down.
And then my dad, the first year, it was just Kevin and I went with Troy. And Troy and Kevin been buddies forever. And then the next year, I was lucky enough to bring my dad down. We went on a gator hunt with Troy. And, I mean, we've been very blessed to...
Very much. And I've went to Missouri and hunted with both of y'all
Yeah.
up there,
Yeah.
you know, duck and goose hunting. And I'm yet to go on the whitetail hunt.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
it
where-
ain't from lack of invitation, Ellis.
I understand that. That's where all this started with
Yeah.
the talk of the big whitetails in Iowa. And,
yeah.
I got a spot.
hey, it's hard for me to untrack from here, guys.
It is.
I know
It
y'all
is.
know that.
But I know one thing.
This time of year, especially. I mean, I would have a hard time leaving here to go up into the frozen tundra where we live.
Yes.
You know, even to shoot a big whitetail.
He could come up in October.
Yeah, I say our season opens September 15th for archery.
Yeah.
We could probably cut you on a pretty good buck then.
Yeah.
Too.
But I do believe I actually finally got him convinced. Maybe next year.
This year.
Or, well, yeah, we are
Yeah,
in 2022.
2022.
Yeah.
Get out of here, and we're going to go on an elk hunt with bows in Colorado.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, finally getting him away from home
If
for
Kev-
more than 5 days.
I will say this for the entire hunting public. If Kevin Ellis goes to Colorado bow hunting for elk, I will go out there and film it. I don't
Oh.
want to tag. I don't want to carry a bow. I don't want to do nothing. I just want to film it.
We got a deal going here.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
going to happen.
Yeah, we're going to have this all
Yeah.
work out.
I even get an altitude sickness wrecks me, and I'll still go up there.
I can tell you one thing. I ain't listened to you whine the whole time we're up there. I will
Well,
hire a cameraman before I do that.
That ain't the truth of you to hire a new handler. Every time he plays an entry, I whine about it the whole time.
Yeah. But you don't whine after you win.
No, I don't.
That's a
you
good
do
thing.
you do give me a good dog, and a lot of times I win, so it ain't that big a deal. So, anything in closing? We've been at it for a while. You guys are getting ready to go hunting.
Yep.
Yeah, I got some work to do for Joy, so I'm gonna run back to the motel and get some of my emails sent, my phone calls answered, and all that stuff. But anything you want to say, Kevin or Ad or Jed?
I mean, I've been truly blessed with
Yeah.
meeting Kevin as long ago as I did. Him keeping me around as long as
That's the
giving me
impressive
advice
part.
and everything.
Yeah, that's still to be determined.
It's
It could change any minute.
It's pretty crazy to think, I got to watch both his girls grow
Yeah.
up, graduate, one go off and get married. It's just been a true blessing.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done a lot of hunting together. There's a lot more hunting to happen together.
I do want to say, because whenever I'm trying to, what year? 6 years I've been down here.
Yep.
7.
6 or 7, yeah.
Yeah, and Jed had brought all kinds of people before he brought me.
That's what I was going to say. I'm impressed, Josh, that you have been able to hang this long with him. Out of all the guys he's brought down, you're the only one that's been able to come back year after year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Big Tom and Josh have made
Yeah.
a couple years
Yeah.
with him, but yeah. So
Yeah.
that's saying something right there.
Well, I mean, Jed, sometimes I wonder about his choice of friends, and then I think I am one, and so is Kevin. I'm like, so he can't miss all the time, but every now and then.
Yeah. You go through a lot of them in life.
Every year, as times went on, the first couple years, the guys he would come down with him, I would ask him about him. Well, I've learned now, just don't even ask.
They don't
They
exist
don't
anymore.
exist anymore. Just don't even ask it.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a special kind of person to put up with Jed, too, as
Yes.
Kevin
Yeah.
knows.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's like Jed said, it's been a blessing that, the friendship we struck up, and it's just been it's been a good time, and we're
Yep.
going to continue on.
Yeah, that's the one thing we talk about with these hounds. And we've heard Jason Doherty say it, Michael Ward say it, me and Jed, and the people that we've been able to meet. Like, I wouldn't know a Kevin Ellis and wouldn't be able to come down here and experience any of this if it wasn't for this awesome sport.
Right.
And if Kevin hadn't grew up with dogs and hadn't been there and someone hadn't started this hunt, he never would have met Jed or never had the opportunity to guide 4 nights, and we never would have been able to be in this place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's just
We wouldn't even known it existed.
no.
Without
No.
coon hunting, a place like
Yeah.
this, and to be honest with you, it's a place I'd live.
Oh, it's awesome.
The camp,
Yeah.
I could live here.
I was telling my girlfriend the other day, I was like, if we're going to get a retirement home, it's going to be right in here
Yeah.
because there's no place like it.
Yep.
And I mean, we can search the whole United States and you're not going to find something like this.
Oh no, the hospitality is second to none.
Exactly.
Kevin is a prime example of the hospitality
Yep.
of East Texas.
And Kevin's a special case because even he's extra hospitable, even compared for here, but everybody's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
even you just walk into Woody to get a case of pickled quail eggs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Josh and them quail eggs,
Yeah,
man.
let's-
Oh, my
They're
I'm
good.
surprised we don't got a flat laying here on the table.
Some people
Yeah.
have no taste. I'm telling you, they're delicious.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
The one thing Kevin and I will agree on, for sure,
That's
is we
right.
ain't eating them.
Nope. Not happening.
All right, gentlemen, it's been great, and Kevin, thank you again for hosting us. I mean, it's never
Absolutely.
special enough, and everybody that's listening, if you get a chance to come down to the Lone Star 5000, it's not just Kevin, but the Jewett Club, the Iola Club, everybody that's responsible for this hunt does such a fantastic job. The
It's the-
Cowboy Church,
The communities.
Yeah,
yes,
that's what I'm going to say. The entire the community, the volunteer fire departments,
Yep.
all the volunteers that put this on every year, and it's just, it's a great hunt.
Yeah.
And what I realized a long time ago, all y'all from the northern states, it gives y'all a place to come
exactly.
to get out of that weather
Yep.
and to come down here and
Yep.
and enjoy some good
And
hunting.
the other thing is, we ain't going to keep going back to a place that we don't enjoy.
Exactly.
I mean, that's one thing about it. I mean, I went to Michigan Madness one year. Nothing against it. We just don't. I don't like it up there.
Yeah.
But down here, everybody just needs to experience it.
Yep.
Because the hospitality from it's not just the hunters. It's
No.
the community. All the people that you go into a gas station. It ain't very often that they don't. Oh, thank you, or
Yeah.
the people are respectful.
Southern hospitality is a huge deal down here, and
Absolutely.
it's alive and well, and everybody practices it, and it's amazing place.
Absolutely.
It really is. You're looking at the Centerville, Crockett, Buffalo, Iola, Jewett, this whole area of Texas, all the way over to, I don't know if Shane Allman listens to this, but I used to hunt over there around Lufkin with him, and I mean just great people all over from the Louisiana border, on east or on west. It's just great, and everybody knows hunters and knows hounds and welcomes us, and that's not the case everywhere.
And it's the way it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, to be
Exactly.
honest with you, and the way people coexist down here, the deer hunters, the hog hunters, I mean, that's what makes it even more special.
It's a blueprint for what the rest of the country could be if they would just come in and accept it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, if they seen it, how it does coexist, it would open a lot of eyes.
Yep.
But I mean, people just, it's a place to come experience.
Because, I mean, Ellis Ranch is a deer hunting ranch.
Yes.
I mean, you guys deer hunt and you duck hunt.
Yep.
I mean, that's it.
And-
I mean, that's until me and Jed come down here and wreck the entire place. I mean, that's what you guys focus on. You know, you grow big deer. You guys killed some big deer here.
Yeah, I've killed in the last couple of years several.
Yeah, you
good
killed
deer.
a lot of ducks in the slough, you know.
Yep.
And the thing is, they deer hunt after we coon hunt.
Yeah.
You see just as many deer.
Oh,
Am I
yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of people around here understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That they don't in other areas.
Exactly.
You know, them dogs aren't bothering those
All
deer.
these
you can run a
ranchers.
deer all night long, and she's gonna be or he's gonna be
Yeah.
right there the
Yeah.
next morning where
Yep.
you started him at.
Yep.
You know, it's just part of it.
And Kevin has fielded some pretty trashy dogs
Oh, absolutely.
in this place in the last 21 years.
He's seen some special ones. I can promise you that.
What'd you guys do last night after we left? I left early.
Well, let's just say our new young dog decided that he was going to A Lake and he found a hog.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, we went on a journey.
We don't turn loose just straight coon dogs on the Ellis place.
No, hey, the thing is, it's a big enough property. The landowners around it understand.
Yep.
If we get on them, we get them off, you know, and stuff like that. And Kevin knows everybody around here.
Yep.
He's lived here his whole life. So that, I mean, he gives people a heads up. And, you know, it's just one of them deals. They don't see them hogs at 13
Yeah.
months old. That's the first hog he'd ever seen.
Yep.
And by God, they like them.
I'll bet
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Well, Con is 6. This is the first trip I've had down here with him. Mm-hmm. And if he'd have went with that pup last night before I put him up, he might have run him. I mean, he's never seen a hog. You know, they'll run him. Mm-hmm. Dollar would run him even though he'd been broke off of him. You know, it's
Yeah,
just-
he was down here. I mean, one year that I got in the pro showcase with
Yep.
Trader, he was in the finals
Yep,
with me.
Exactly.
So,
And
But
he
no.
come down here 2 years later and ran hogs all night.
yep.
There's plenty here to run.
There he is.
But no, we're definitely blessed, and I hope everybody gets to come down here and experience it.
It's a special place. It's a special people. Kevin, thank you again for joining us, and
Thank
thank you
you.
for hosting us as always. Kevin goes above and beyond, and Miss Karen and the girls, they're always very gracious. Everyone's fantastic down here.
They have to be to put up with me for 21
Exactly. It's
Exactly.
a special group of people that can deal with 2 decades of Jed Finley.
years. That's right. That is a fact.
And the trader dogs. both.
Hey, and the thing is, it's the one place that I'm probably not hated. I'm more liked when I walk into a place.
That's still debatable, Jed.
Hey, will they
Well,
leave?
if you've been everywhere else in the country, you'd understand he's telling the truth.
I
believe
at least got more friends here than I do in other parts of the country. Let's put it that
Just
way.
because you stay here for a week only.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You ain't here all year long.
Yeah.
Kevin, thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys.
again.
Thank y'all for having me on here. It's been
Jed,
great.
thanks for being. We didn't circle around on any of the last episodes.
No.
But we're going to call it the circle points anyway.
We'll circle around back after the Lone Star
Yeah, we will
5000.
circle back to the Lone Star 5000
That's right.
circle points episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. All right.
Thanks
Anything-
a bunch for
yeah.
both of you.
Anything else
No,
to
that's
add,
it.
fellas?
Just good luck to you guys this week.
We're going to need it.
Yeah,
that's
we're
for
gonna
sure.
need it.
It's going to be good no matter what.
That's
Yep.
right.
Well, hey, we're at Texas camp. Everything's
It can't be
good.
bad.
Yep.
No,
It can't be bad from camp.
that's right.
All right. This is Josh Michaelis, and this is The Truth on the Houndsman XP Podcast Network. And we thank you for listening, and we hope you keep listening. You
Let's
guys
go
have a
coon
good
hunting,
day.
boys.
Let's go coon hunting.